There's one thing that I left out in this mix, something that I do in pretty much every mix that I do, and I'm going to do it now. That is a little bus compression on my beats. I usually do that to avoid having to squash the master bus compressor too much to give the mix a certain energy. Let's listen to the track as it is now. Now, I'm not denying it sounds pretty good, but I think if you hear the difference in a moment, you'll agree that it can sound even better. Komplete comes with a couple extra compressors that I haven't touched upon yet. I'm going to do that right now. These 4 compressors right here, the Wᴏʟᴅ, the VC2A, the VC76, and the VC160. These are all, again, emulations of existing gear. Except for maybe the Wᴏʟᴅ, I'm not sure about that. But what this is tube compressor. You need to drive it pretty hard to get it to work. So I'm going to crank the input up and bring the output down. See, and still I'm only getting a half dB of gain reduction right here. All the usual suspects: input, output, threshold, attack and recovery, which is release. Only thing you might be missing is a ratio knob, and I assume that is because the amount of compression is dependent on the input. I'm not sure if this works for the beats. Actually, I don't think so. I'm going to try one of the other ones. How about the VC2A? Clearly inspired by the LA2A, which was a tube compressor with an opto system, meaning that the compression was controlled actually using a light bulb. It's got no threshold, attack, or release. All of that is fixed. It's got a peak reduction and a gain knob. It's a very simple way of working. You use these two to get your amount of compression. LA2A was famous for its ability to make things sound fat. Maybe this one does the same. It's got a detector HP, which is short for high pass. So if I bring this up, everything below 66 Hertz in this case will not affect the compressor, meaning your beats will sound fatter. Getting a very nice glued sound here. Let's put this on hold for a moment. Check out the other one. The VC76. Now this, of course, again, is an emulation, in this case, of the famous Wᴏʟᴅ 1176 compressor. And this is one of those compressor types you really need to have in your arsenal. This is famous for its edgy, gritty vocal sound, but also for its all ratio buttons in mode to get live drums to sound bigger than live. In this case, I'm going to try it on a moderate ratio setting, see if it can work on electronic beats as well. Yeah, it works, but I think it's a bit too gritty for my taste for this track. Then there's a last one, the VC160, also an emulation of a famous legendary compressor, the DBX160. And this one is able to get so much energy into anything. It's a very unusual threshold system with detectors for below the threshold and above the threshold. And you'll need to get used to working with that. A compression knob, which is basically a ratio, no attack or release. This is probably not going to work for these type of beats because it's got a very snappy sound. Let's try it. See, even with a very modest amount of gain reduction, I get this very typical DBX snappy sound. This is the original. Maybe if I inject back in a bit of the dry signal. Well, it's got a bit more life and energy to it, but probably a bit too much. And I don't think I can get any of the settings to work. Let's stick maybe with the VC2A. Yeah, this is way too aggressive and snappy. This one's got a lot more warmth and friendly sound to it, I think. Now in the mix. So using just a tiny bit of bus compression on the Beats bus allows me to get away with very modest gain reduction on the master.